Good afternoon to you all and happy Friday. Let's see if this works. Let's see if we have the technology. Greetings to you all. How are you doing? Welcome to my Friday live. Greetings from Sharm el Sheikh, one of my very favourite places in the world, but because it's Egypt, we love Egypt, by the way, but because it's Egypt, nothing really works. So we've only just got in from the airport. We were supposed to be here a little while ago. Anyway, here we all are. I hope you are well. Greetings to you. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, hello. Let me know where in the world you are. Hi Ben, hi Frank, nice to see you. Who else have I got joining? Give me a wave, say hello. Let me know where you are watching from. I am coming live to you from Sharm el Sheikh in Egypt, one of our very favourite places in the whole wide world. And our favourite hotel here has just opened up. We are their very first customers. So it's all been a little bit chaotic and we've literally just got in the room. So I'm perched on the edge of a bed, as you can see, but very happy to see you all. How are you doing? Happy Friday to you. Yeah, do say hello, give me a thumbs up, let me know where you are, give me a wave. So, how are we doing? Lockdown's easing. Have you got any holiday plans brewing? I understand it's been quite cold and miserable in the UK, so I'm sending lots and lots of lovely sunshine your way. It is hot, hot, hot here, as you can probably see. So, end of May, how is your year going so far? And what have you been working on this week? Has it been a good one? Really good week here. Lots of coaching and helping people get clear. So my favourite things. And we flew to Cairo last night and flew here down to Sharm this morning. So yeah, lots going on here. Thank you to all of you who have been referring friends and colleagues to me. I really do appreciate it, whether for one-to-one coaching or work with their teams or to be interviewed for my book. Really great to get all those referrals. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining, more people joining. Hello, hello, welcome to you all. Lots of new joiners as well to this community. Welcome to each and every one of you. I'm really passionate about serving you and giving you lots of great value, not just in these weekly lives from wherever I am in the world, as you can see, but also in our Ask Me Anything slots, 3 p.m. UK time every Monday. I really want you to know that you are not alone in your journey. So please feel free to post your questions, your challenges into this group. We do review all the posts to stop people just blatantly trying to sell, which is not what we are doing here. We are helping you get clear about your business and the next steps. Hi Karen, hi Richard, nice to see you. How are you doing? How are you doing this week? I hope that you and your business are thriving, but do you know what? If you're not, then that's okay as well. Please let me know what support you need. You are not alone. So, hi Miles, just seeing you coming in. Nice to see you all. Greetings to you all. Yes, greetings from Sharm el Sheikh. We have just landed here, and being Egypt, which we love, it's all been very chaotic, so I am perched on the edge of my bed here. We've just got into the room here. And I'm very happy to see you all and happy to have arrived in time to be able to go live for you all now. So enough chit chat, let's get going. Welcome to my weekly live at 12 noon UK time every Friday, where we talk about how you can simplify, grow and enjoy your business. Whether you're just starting out or you're several years in, whether you want to build a nice lifestyle business or chasing world domination, I am here to support your journey, as I say, from wherever I am in the world. Last week we were looking at asking for what you need. We talked through the nuts and bolts of really asking for what you want, is instead of all that kind of passive aggressive hinting that so many people do when they're trying to ask for what they want without actually asking. I also shared my 5 top tips for getting what you want in business. So if you didn't get a chance to join me live last week, you can find a recording in this group, as you can with all of the lives. They are all organised into guides, into Facebook group guides. We have a simplify, grow and enjoy your business guides. So as you know, I do tend to take my cues from you each week in terms of what's going to be helpful for me to cover during these lives, and sometimes maybe I read something or I reflect on an experience that I've had and take the learnings from that. Sometimes I share things from my book or what I'm working with my clients on, but most often these lives come from conversations, from questions and requests that I get from this community. So do let me know, where are you stuck? What questions do you have? What challenges are you facing? Today's live has been inspired by several questions that I've been asked recently about being organised and managing your time. I know it's a frequent topic for many business owners. How do you really kind of get organised? So today's live is on the very important topic of how to clear your head, how to get your head clear and how to keep it clear. As business owners, it's really very common for us to feel overwhelmed by all the decisions that we have to make or all the options that we have to choose from. We often find ourselves working harder and harder with no real plan of how to change things. We kind of tell ourselves that we're almost there, that things will get less busy soon, and we're nearly there, just one more day, one more week, one more month, without really knowing how we're going to achieve less busyness. So how do we clear our heads and get organised? How do we manage our time and our priorities? And how do we focus on what's most important? Because we have to be in it for the long haul. As you all know, and I say frequently, running a business is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So overwhelm is something that we really need to watch out for. So as always, today's live is designed to give you some things to think about and also some action that you can take today. So I'm going to give you some insights in terms of why we get overwhelmed and also talk about some different ways to deal with it. So let's get started. So, question for you, how much do you rely on your memory? Do you keep multiple to-do lists? Do you worry about forgetting things, or do you feel overwhelmed with everything that you've promised yourself you're going to do? I know that I've relied on my memory a lot over the years, but when you've got too many things in your head, it does get overwhelming, and lots of people struggle to keep on top of everything. So today I want to help you get organised with your head clear so that you can focus on what you want to be thinking about. You may or may not have thought about it this way, especially if you're not really a systems or a process person. And I know that many of you kind of, when I talk about processes, you're kind of like, oh no, that's not me. And so you might not have thought about it this way, but you probably have already got some kind of system, some kind of way of keeping yourself organised, right? You wouldn't have been able to start a business, run a business, you wouldn't have got to where you are in life without having some kind of way of keeping yourself organised. And it might work quite well, or it might work not so well. And even if you don't really like systems and processes, you obviously do need them and you obviously do use them. I find it can be really helpful to break things down into steps so that we can look at kind of each stage of something. Look at it as a process and think about it as steps. If you don't like that word process, that's okay. So let me start this off then by sharing with you a little bit about our brains. Our brains are wonderfully complicated mechanisms, organisms if you like, but they're also very simple in their own way as well, and that gives us some unique challenges. So every time we commit to doing anything, our brains open up what's called a loop. And the problem is that our brains can't really tell the difference between something that's urgent, that needs to be done today, or something that we might get round to someday, one day. And our brains also can't distinguish at all between something small, like changing a light bulb, or something really huge, a really huge decision or a really huge thing that we've got on our to-do list, like selling a business, for example. And all this means is that our heads get really cluttered up with all the stuff that we need to remember. And our brains, whose primary function is to keep us safe, don't forget, our brains keep trying to be helpful, and they keep trying to remind us of everything that we have committed to doing. And that's why you might find yourself awake at night thinking maybe about a book that somebody mentioned to you, or a call that you're planning to make one day, and you're like, why am I thinking about this at 3 o'clock in the morning? The only way to avoid overwhelm and clear your head is to have some kind of system. It doesn't matter whether it's pen or paper or the latest technology, but it must be something that works for you. And whatever system you use, it must really convince your brain that you have a way of remembering and keeping on top of all of your commitments. That is the only way to close all of those open loops in your head. So Miles is telling me that I keep freezing, and you'll have to watch the replay. I hope that that is at your end, Miles, but it might be at my end. Those of you that are watching live, can you see me? Can you hear me? Am I making sense, or am I freezing kind of mid-sentence? I hope that we are managing the technology from here in Sharm el Sheikh to reach you wherever you are in the world. So, the only way to close all of those open loops in our heads is to have some kind of system. And the important thing is that your brain has to trust that you have a system that's actually going to work, that's going to help you remember all of those things. Otherwise, it will keep on trying to remember every single thing, and it will keep trying to remind you, and that is why we get overwhelmed. Now, I mentioned earlier on that whatever system you have, it needs to work for you. So what works for me is not going to be the same thing as necessarily is going to work for you. Some people like structure, and other people prefer something that's a little bit more fluid. Some prefer pieces of paper, maybe several notebooks perhaps, and other people want everything together in an online system. So if we all do this differently, then how can I help you, and what are we doing here? I want to share with you my formula for keeping organised with you. And the reason why I call it a formula is that it's customizable to you, so that you, or we, if you'd like to do it together, we can adapt it to suit you and your needs. I call it the focus formula, and it has 5 steps, FOCUS. You'll probably find that you're already doing some of these, maybe you're already doing all of these, but in order to keep your head clear, you need to do each one of these 5 consistently. Okay, so are we ready for this? Let's get into this. So, the first step in order to keep our head clear is the F, and that is for fetch. So every time you have a thought, anytime you think, I should do that, I could do that, I might do that, I want to do that, maybe one day, possibly, maybe, perhaps, it opens a loop in our brain. And so your brain also has no sense of time either, and so you do need to capture everything. Every commitment, and as I say, the brain can't really tell the difference between, if you like, a soft commitment and a hard commitment. So everything that you may one day possibly do, you do need to make a note of. You need to capture it somehow. So you need to have some way of capturing. It really doesn't matter, as I say, if it's a piece of paper, if it's a notebook. I used to use the Notes app on my phone. Now I use a system called Trello. It really doesn't matter what it is that you use, but it does need to be something that you can quickly and easily capture everything, fetch everything, so that it doesn't stay in your head, so that it's written down. And that is really, really important, that you have something that's easily accessible, that you can just easily go to and make a note in whatever way that you want to, that works for you. So that's the F of focus. Then we get on to the O, which is options. And this is where the magic really starts to happen, because you might already realise that you need to fetch everything. You need to kind of write or make a note, capture everything. But when we get to options, this is really where you start to tackle the overwhelm. Most people don't do this, but it really will make a huge difference to you and the level of overwhelm. So even if you just do this one thing that I'm just about to tell you, it really will make a difference. And that is that when you put things on your to-do list, you decide on the next action that you need to take. So you don't just write down Sarah, you write down call Sarah about, you write email Sarah about. Now, you might think that doesn't make any sense, Lisa. When I see Sarah on my list, I know that I need to call her about that thing. The thing is, you do know that, but every time you see the word Sarah, your brain has to figure out, and it's in a split second, nanosecond, so you might not realize that your brain is working, but your brain has to go, Sarah, oh yeah, I need to call her. And that all tires you out, and that contributes to the overwhelm. So if you write down email Sarah about, then your brain doesn't have to do that. So again, we're trying to take the load off of our brain as much as we can. So write down what the next action is. Maybe you don't know what to do with some investments or some premium bonds that you've got, and so maybe your first step is going to be to do a Google search, to do some research online. Doesn't really matter what that next action is, but just capture it. It will make a huge difference to your level of overwhelm. When you're considering that next action, then think DDD, and by that I mean do it immediately if it's something that you can do quickly, like in a couple of minutes. Like, don't avoid even putting it on your to-do list, like just get it done. Ditch it. Like, are you really going to do it? Are you really going to read that book? Are you going to really read that article? Are you really going to do it? If you are, then that's fine, but some things on our to-do lists probably should never make their way on there. So ask yourself, can you just ditch it? Do you really need to fetch it? And then thirdly, very important, the third D is delegate. So can somebody else do it for you? And I always say to people that I'm coaching, prioritize giving other people work to do. Prioritize making sure that everybody else is clear. Give other people clarity before you then think to yourself, right, what am I going to do? What are my priorities? Because it's just a great feeling knowing that other people are working on things that are going to contribute to you and to your business. So always prioritize delegating. So when you're thinking about your next action, think DDD. Do it, ditch it, delegate it. Okay, so we've done the F and we've done the O, so now we're coming on to the C. And this C is when we're talking about buckets, we're talking about organising, and really what we're talking about is categorising. So as we put things on our to-do list, we're talking about categorising things. We're talking about maybe organising things by theme, so put all your calls together, put all your errands together. And the reason that I say that is that you can, one of the reasons why many of you started your own business is that you wanted to manage your own time, right? And you wanted to have a bit more freedom about what you do. And so in my view, you need to be flexible. So do you feel like doing some calls now? Do you feel like doing some emails now? Sometimes there are things that we have to do, I know that, but if you put all the calls together, then you can whack off a whole load of calls and then you can feel great. Right, I've done 5 phone calls, fantastic, yeah? You can indulge your creativity by deciding what you want to do, but you can get the dopamine hit of ticking things off your list, yeah? So bucket things together. Also bigger things, I call them projects. So one of the things that I am working on is my podcast. So every time I have an idea about who I might want to interview, what I might want to talk about, then it goes into the podcast bucket. Before I started writing my second book, it was the same. I had book 2 and I had lots of ideas that were going into that. So bucket things together, categorise them, which is the C in our focus formula, because it will make it more organised, it will make you feel more in control, and it will help you navigate your way through all those things that you need to do. Now, one rule that I must insist on, you cannot have a general bucket. You cannot have a general bucket, did you hear me? So a lot of people do that. They kind of go part way down this. I'm kind of categorizing, I'm kind of organizing myself, but I don't really know where to put this stuff. If you have a bucket that has got stuff in it, your brain is more likely not to trust that you're on top of that. So no general bucket, okay? Categorize everything. It's fine if you want to have, so I have a list on the go, if you like, and I call it today, and it's just what I can add on today, and that doesn't have to be organised, because we are going to organise it in a second, but I do not allow things to stay on there longer than a day. So you can have a kind of a dumping ground, but you must organise it, and that brings us on to a very, very, very important step, which is step 4, and U is for understand. And this is where a lot of systems fall down, because people don't keep on top of them. Yeah, they get really excited about getting all organised, and they sort it all out, and then they don't keep on top of it. And so the reason that I use the word understand is that you need to review your system, your to-do lists, if you like, on a regular basis. Now, there's a couple of different kinds of reviews that I'm talking about. There is a daily review where you have a quick squiz at the things that you're looking to do today. Only use your calendar for things that you're committed to doing, right? So put things in your calendar. At the beginning of your day, you can look at your calendar and say, right, I want to do this, then you can kind of organize your day. When you're looking ahead at the week, you can do the same thing. You can use it to prioritize. Don't put things in the calendar that you're not going to do on that day. There's nothing, I talked about dopamine earlier on. There's nothing more depressing than keep moving things and giving yourself a hard time. So don't do that. So you need to review your list on a daily basis, not the whole thing, but you need to make sure that it's fresh. One of the things that I use when I'm coaching clients is suggest that at the beginning of the day, you kind of have a top 3. What are the 3 things that I want to achieve today? So you need to kind of feel organized, and you need to understand what is on your list on a daily basis. And then so most of you will do that, I'm sure. But very, very importantly, many of you maybe don't do this, is you need to have a weekly review as well. You need to take a quiz through your whole list, your whole system, whether you're using notebooks, pieces of paper, online tools, it doesn't matter. But you need to have a bit of a review once a week. So I like to do this on a Sunday afternoon. I just kind of look through it all. I clear out the things that maybe I've done but I haven't ticked off. Maybe you review it and you go, do you know what, I'm actually not going to do that because maybe something's moved on. So you must keep it fresh, yeah, and you must understand what is there. That's why the U is for understand. You must keep an understanding of what's there. So I like to do that on a Sunday afternoon. Maybe that's a Monday morning task. It is really very important that you do this on a regular basis, and I'll tell you for why. Because if you don't, then your system will soon become a little bit rusty. So it'll have some stuff in there that you're not going to do. It'll have some stuff in there that you've already done. It'll have some stuff in there that you don't really quite know why it's there or what to do with it. It'll start becoming a little bit creaky and rusty. And you know what? Your brain is paying attention, and your brain will go, I don't trust you anymore. You're not on top of everything. I have a client who it took me quite a while to persuade him that he just needed to get down to one list for exactly that reason, because your brain is not going to trust. Say you've got a master list and you tell your brain, this is my master list, but you kind of have another list, this is what my client had, and your brain will not switch off. Your brain is too smart for that. So you've got to review it on a regular basis. You've got to keep it up to date, right? You've got to keep it fresh. And this is why, if you don't believe me that this works, I'm gonna give you an example. Just before you go on holiday, you probably make a list, right? So you make a list of all the things that you need to take with you, that you need to remember to do before you're going to go, and slowly as you get towards your date of going, then you go through that list and you tick things off, and it makes you feel good. And at some point you might say, do you know what, I'm not sure if I am actually going to do that before I go, and so you might move it onto a list that is from when you come back from your holiday. But basically what happens is when you leave, that moment that you leave, you actually feel great because you've done everything that you were going to do, or you have reconciled yourself to the fact that this will not get done until after holiday. So you clear all the decks, you get yourself organised, you have everything packed, you have everything sorted, you're all in control and you're organised. And that feels amazing. And so we think we feel amazing because we're going off on holiday, and we do, that is why we feel amazing, but we also feel amazing because we feel organised. So this is why the understand step in the focus formula is really super important. If you don't do that, what will happen, as I say, is your system will get stale, and depending on how you're wired, that may take a few weeks for your brain to realise you're not really using your system, and for some people it will be quicker than that. And step 5 is succeed, S for succeed, and the point of doing all of this is that we keep our heads clear. We want the right action at the right time, and we want our head clear to make good decisions, right? So they are the 5 steps of my focus formula, and you must commit to all 5 of them. So you must fetch everything, you must not add anything without considering your options and deciding on that next action. You must categorize everything into appropriate buckets so that your system remains flexible. You must understand what you have in your system using daily and weekly reviews. And all of this will lead to success, will lead you to succeed, where you take actions and you're doing the right things at the right time. So what do you think about these steps? Which ones are you doing well at the moment, and which ones need a little bit of attention? Do let me know your questions, your comments. What's your next step in your life, in your business? What do you need to make you feel more confident? Do book in a clarity call with me, and let's get you moving past whatever is blocking your progress and on to the next challenge. So before I close up today, I want to give you some next steps, some concrete things that I suggest you do as a result of today's live. Okay, number 1, review the system, the way that whatever it is that you use to keep you organised. However disorganised you think you are, you will have some sort of system in place, I promise you. Probably just needs a little bit of refining. Next, map your system against my 5 steps. Which one is missing, or which one needs beefing up a little bit, needs a bit of a refresher? And thirdly, you know what's coming, take some action. The only way that you can be overwhelmed is by getting organised. It doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be loads of admin. If you need my help, please do reach out. It really will be worth it once you've got it in place and it's working. It is such a relief just to feel organised. And trust me, everybody can feel organised, however creative and chaotic you think you are. I promise you I can help you get organised. Okay, I'm going to close up today's live with 2 quotes about having a clear head. The first one is from the American author Arthur Golden. A mind troubled by doubt cannot focus on the course to victory. And second, from Gabrielle Bernstein, who is another American author, getting organised is a sign of self-respect. I love that. I could not agree more, in fact. Let's say goodbye to overwhelm and get you organised. Just because you're creative doesn't mean you can't develop a way of doing things that really works for you. Decide what is really important to you and to your business and stick to it consistently. Building a business is tough. It can be a really long, hard road. Make sure you're building something that's really meaningful to you, that will sustain you through the tough times. Be intentional and say no to the things that don't really serve you and the goal that you want to achieve. Focus on listening to yourself and asking yourself what you need to spend more time in your flow. Ask yourself, what would a business that really works for me look like? Let me know your thoughts and your questions on this or any other topic relating to how to simplify, grow and enjoy your business. What area of business would you like me to speak about next? Also, who do you know that could benefit from joining this community or having a conversation with me? Do check out the accountability section of my book for much more on getting organised. Do get the foundations right, and then you can build whatever it is that you want from there. I really hope that you have a lovely weekend, whatever you're doing and whoever you're doing it with. I do wish you a happy and peaceful time. And as always, if you want to talk, then you know where I am. Please remember to be where you are in the journey. You don't need to know it all, and you don't have to do it all. I'm off to do some diving and check back on this recording. Hopefully this all worked and it wasn't all garbled. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Do take care, stay safe, and keep in touch. Bye for now.